In this video, we are going to talk about working with tables. Working with tables is all about improving your efficiency, and employers want to see people working efficiently in Excel. The thing with tables is it just automatically makes things more efficient because of the features and the functions available. So let's have a look at setting up a table, and then we look at some of the efficiency features of working with tables and benefits of working with tables. So I have this data set here, and to the human eye, we can notice that it is all grouped together. However, if we were to add in a column here, to the human eye, it doesn't really look like these are related anymore. And that's the same with Excel when you're trying to set up a table. When you're setting up a table, you can't have a blank row or a blank column. However, you can have blank fields within. To set up the table, all you need to do is you can select all of the data, or you can even just put the active cell within the data set and press Ctrl and T. Excel will then identify what it thinks is going to be the table, and if it has it correct, we are good to go. If not, we can manually change using this button here. If your table has headers, you need to select My Table Has Headers and say OK. And this will then convert your data into a table. Now we can see it has been given some formatting, but not all formatted data is in tables. You'll know if you have a table because when you select in it, you'll have a new ribbon called Table Design. Now when you set up a table, it's a good idea to name that table. So let's call this table Table Invoices, TBINV. Now, when you're naming a table, you can use names and numbers and underscores. You can't use special characters. You also can't start with a number. By naming the table, it means that you can quickly jump to the table from any other sheet within your workbook by just using the named range. In addition to getting to a table quick, there's also quick navigation. For example, if I wanted to jump to the far right of the table, pressing Ctrl and the right arrow will allow me to jump to the far right. Now imagine you've a really long table and you need to jump to the bottom. Ctrl and down arrow will allow you to do this. Ctrl and right arrow to the right and Ctrl and up arrow to the top. It's great that we can move around a table efficiently, but did you ever notice when you scroll on a spreadsheet that you have to freeze pane so you can continue to see the headers? Well, when you're working with tables, you don't have to do this. As long as you have selected a field within the table, when you scroll up, your header columns of the table become the column names. Now, when you scroll back down again, it just returns back to normal. But that is another great trick of tables. Now, tables allow for very fast formatting as well. In table design, there are a lot of styles that we can pick between light styles, which you wouldn't even think had a table, to medium and darker styles. So let's just select one of these styles here. Now we also get with tables, we get filters, and it's important that you know how to work with filters. Filters will allow you to reduce your table size to subsets of data. For example, let's say we just wanted to see all of the data for the 1st of January. Well, we could just go to the 1st of January and select OK. And this filters our data down. We can then remove the filter by saying clear filter. Let's say we wanted to look at all of invoice number 12. We can filter the product or the invoice number in this way. We also have text filters such as equals, does not equal, begins with, contains, and so forth. I'm going to select all. Number filters are quite similar as well. With the number filters, we can say anything that is greater than or equal to, let's just say 50. See if there's anything greater than or equal to 50, and there is not. So let's clear that filter. And let's see if there is anything that is less than 20. And there's not. So you can select between the different filters, number filters, or you can select specific items from here, and you can also search in your filters. So reducing your subsets of data or finding data is much quicker in a table because of the automatic filters. So we have gone through now adding or the navigation and the quick tricks for navigation, but you can also quickly select your columns of data. So we see when I click on the line there, I select the whole column of data. Let's just scroll this up for a second. And now when we hover over a column, you see this black arrow. This black arrow allows you quickly select a column. You can also quickly select any of the rows using the black arrow. Again, if we select it once, it selects it without the column header. If we select twice, it selects it with the column header. We can also select the entire table very quickly as well. Now, to add data to tables, all you have to do is press Tab to add in a new line. If there are formulas in your data, when you fill in your data, such as we put in 25, our formula here has filled down. Using the crosshair here as well, we can also increase the size of our table. We can add new columns just by dragging the table in this way. We can also add new columns by typing in a new column. Now, if we are adding in a formula, so let's say we wanted to, we're going to recalculate the total. So we call this total 2, and we're going to recalculate the total. So the total is going to be the quantity multiplied by the price. Now notice, when you're using a table, the table formula references come in, not cell references. But this makes it really, really easy to read. What we're saying is we're looking at this table and we're taking the column quantity and we're multiplying it by the column price. Now that's an awful lot easier to read than cell reference by cell reference. Now when we put a formula into a column, we don't even have to drag it down because it automatically fills. Now the thing with using tables is that anything that is driven off a table is dynamic. If you create charts or if you create pivot tables, these will all automatically update as you add or remove or change data within your table. So it makes creating charts and it makes creating pivot tables an awful lot faster when you have your data originally set up in a table format. Another great feature of a table is the ability to insert slicers. So if we go to our table design, we can insert a slicer, and a slicer will allow you to basically filter your data. So let's say we wanted slicers for region and product. You'll be offered the ability to add a slicer for any of the columns. Slicers work best on categorical data, not numerical data. So let's select our slicers, and if we were then to only select our product one, our table will be filtered down for us using the actual slicers themselves. Another quick tip that I'm going to show you about tables is the ability to add totals. Now the totals we can change. So if we go to our table design, we can select row totals. And this is going to add a total for our row. Now this total we can change. So we can get the average, the count, the number, the max, the min, and all these other functions. So if we were to get the average, we can quickly do this. Now the totals come for any numeric column. So you can add in totals for all of these, and this is not considered part of the table because when we add a new column to the new row to the table, our totals row will move down. So that is a very quick introduction to working with tables. What I would suggest is that you practice setting up tables, that maybe you create a chart from a table and see how that when you change the details in the table, update rows, remove rows, how your data automatically in your charts automatically updates for you and how efficient this can make you when you're working in Excel.